Hey everybody. Today we're going to be talking about side-by-sides. As much as side-by-sides are great, they're great going out into the woods, they're great going out riding with your friends, hitting that mud hole, hitting those hills. But the one thing that we all find in common when it comes to the side-by-side is when we start to accessorize it. We end up adding a windshield, a rear windshield. Some people enclose them. When you do that, in the summer months, especially with the heat, the one thing that we deal with is heat. You end up getting, heat in the cab. You end up getting steam in the cab. The motor is literally 12 inches from your back, from the backs of your seats, accompanied with the radiator is up front. So you get not only heat coming in from the motor into the cab, but you also get heat coming forward off of the radiator. Now you can easily, when you install a windshield, I have one here. This is a bent metal windshield, and it has vents, okay? You can open the vents. A lot of people do flip-up windshields. Some people don't run windshields at all, but there's times you still have to fight that heat. And how do you do that? Well, some units come with air conditioning. Unfortunately, this does not. The common side-by-side does not come with air conditioning. Some of them don't even come with heat. The way to combat the summer heat and the heat from the cab while you're out enjoying yourself in the woods is to add an overhead fan or some type of fan system. Now, what we're going to be doing today is Kemimoto has sent us their latest version of their dual tilting overhead fan. The fan also comes with RGB lighting, which you can control with Bluetooth, which is a pretty cool feature for those that want that type of feature. I'm not a big lighting guy, but you know what? Maybe if we do a night ride, I might turn them on. I think we're going to go ahead and be installing that fan today and get this set up and go ahead and move into that install right now. Stay tuned. What I have here is a Kemimoto dual overhead fan that also has RGB color changing lights that are installed with the fan itself. The fans also rotate, so they're not stationary, so you can kind of adjust them and pitch them to which direction you want them to go in, which I think is really awesome, because there's nothing worse than having two stationary fans and say they're just blowing on your shoulders. You can actually tilt these, and I'll show you that when I get it installed, on the driver, on the passenger, towards, I don't know how far they're going to tilt. We're going to find that out, but let's go ahead and unbox it. So the first thing I see in here, and I think this install is going to be pretty straightforward. You obviously have your mounting brackets right here. Now the cool thing about this fan, this has a sliding bracket system, so it'll fit 41 to I think 57-inch wide roll cages. It uses 80 watts of power, which is about 6.8 amps, so it's not heavy draw. So I have a feeling this is going to be a great option adding to this side-by-side, because I'm going to be honest with you, in the hot summer heat, when it's humid, I can't take it. So we got our mountain brackets. I'm going to go ahead and pull this bad boy out. Drop it. I mean, this looks pretty straightforward install. So is that taped on there? No. So you have straps. You have your clamps. It comes with tools, some more clamps, and then all your bolts to install. It also comes with step-by-step instructions. So I will say Kemimoto does a pretty good job with their instructions, I gotta say. So, looking at this, the cable length is almost 10 feet. It's 9.8. It's 14 gauge wire, 12 volt. So here you have the fan, and as you can see, oh wow, look at that. You can rotate this on, on your passenger, on you. I'm assuming that this tightens up somehow, but if you look at the rear, it's pretty well wired. This is your wire, obviously you're going to be running to your battery or your hookup. And then this is a control board. Obviously it controls not only the fan, but also your lights here. You got your knobs here, you got your overhead dome lights here, and then your individual switch that power this unit. So we're gonna go ahead and get this mounted up. So we have the roof off. I did have some straps that I used to hold, grab handles. Those came off. I'll have to relocate them probably once I get this installed. But the one thing I want to note, I don't know how this is going to hook up. I'm hoping it does. Kemimoto said it should be fine. But CFMOTO uses a different styled, it's almost like a notched roll bar. And it's very hard to find clamps and accessories that fit these roll bars. But I'm thinking that the clamps for this is going to be straightforward. So we're going to go ahead and dive in and get all the parts out and try to go ahead and get this thing installed. Be right back. All right, so looking at the instructions, as you can see here, it gives you a breakout of everything that's included and should be included in your box. It comes with the tools. So it looks like the first thing you have to do is you have to install the long mounting, the adjustable brackets onto the fan. So I'm not going to show you guys that. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, and then we'll come back and position it up top here, and then we'll get a look at getting it hooked up. All right, so I'll be back. So the one thing I want to know is, the cool thing also is what makes this universal is Kemimoto includes clamps for not only a 52mm roll bar, but also up to a 40mm roll bar. So that's awesome. So you have two different clamping options. So depending on the size of your roll bar, it makes this fan way more universal probably than many others out there on the market. So here you can see the difference between the 40 and the 52. And looking at my roll bar, there's no way that a 40 is going to work. So I'm going to end up going with, obviously, the 52. And there it is. 52 it is. Let's keep assembling this fan, and then we'll come back and we'll go ahead and put it in place, and we'll get it hooked up. No, please don't fall on my head. So I have all my clamps. Got all my clamps. Now Kemimoto does include all the tools to install this, but I'm actually using, it's like a ratchet screwdriver with a hex bolt in the end of it. It's just going to be so much quicker. You have the options. If not, if you're buying this, you don't have tools, the kit comes with tools. So now I got to check out these instructions. So let's take a look. Oh, easy peasy. Really wish I could get the camera up top. Let's see if I can do that without breaking my neck. So I don't know if you guys can see me down here. Hello. Well, Houston, you might have to break this. I think we're good. I have an idea. Just because you have an idea doesn't make it a good one, right? So what I think I'm going to do, looking at this, I don't know if you guys can see this, but with the width of this inlay on the rail, I can't get it to go in far enough to drop down in. So what I'm doing is I'm loosening this slide rail to go up over one of these fan bolts that holds the fan in place to try to get it a little bit shorter. And the nice thing is Kemimoto left you a track in here to do just that. So at first, hey, whoa, where are you going? At first I thought I was in trouble, and I'm like, this is not gonna fit. All right, what's the deal here? And that's as far as it'll go. So there it is. It drops down in. Tighten this back up. Bring this up over that bolt. Come on, baby. There we go. Unless this turns sideways, this should not fall out. I mean, that side's barely in, but when we put the clamps in, it'll help hold this. I hope. Get this into position. And as you can see, a screwdriver or screwdriver ratchet works really well for an application like this. Around to the other side. I'm wondering if I want to move it forward a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. I can always adjust it later. All right, she is in. It's pretty solid. Now what I'm hoping, these are a little loose, so I can kind of see them flopping around, as you can see, but I'm going to go ahead and give it an attempt to tighten this up, hoping that they get a little tighter. Kemimoto did include 2 wrenches, and I'm assuming it's just for this, for tightening this up. And it did. It got much tighter adjusting these bolts. So if you guys were to look right here, I'm hoping you can see this. There is a bolt right here, and then there's a nut in here. So what you want to do is, you see how loose that is? I actually, you know, it's pretty loose. So I want these to be a little bit tighter. So I tighten them up. I tighten these up, and you can tighten these up as well. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. You don't want to go too tight, because I don't know if they break, strip, just snug. So the cool thing about this, having these tilts, is if it's really hot, I could actually leave the top one blowing on me and tilt this one towards the driver. Or if the passenger wants all the air, you could tilt it that way as well. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. I don't see a lot of fans out there on the market for UTVs doing that. So I think that's pretty cool. I do also think I am going to slide this forward just a little bit. I believe that, you know, it's coming down pretty much on top of our helmet, and I think you want it down a little bit further so it's blowing down on your body. So I am going to loosen these up and slide these. And again, like I said, Kemimoto does a really good job with their instructions. Their instructions are really straightforward. It's really not hard to understand and hard to follow. It was, I will show you in a second. It's really easy. I'm gonna tell you, I think the most intensive part of mounting this is going to be taking your roof off, mounting the brackets to this, which literally took me 5 minutes, and then getting it positioned. Now I did this by myself. If you had help, I think it would go so much quicker. This is the clamping system right here. And you know, it's got rubber on it, so it's not moving. I mean, this thing's, it's snug. But what I did is, if you were to look right here, Kemimoto gives you a tracking system here, which is really cool. The nice thing is they left this obviously for the bolts that are down in here to adjust this, to slide it for the width of roll cages. But it also, I had, in order to fit the CFMOTO, this is the 2025 ZForce 950 Sport Gen 2. This is a 60-inch wide side-by-side, but I think the roll cage on this one and the 50-inch wide trail are the same width roll cages. So in order to get this to fit down inside the track right here, as you can see, I had to, on each side, I had to loosen this and hop it over this bolt. But like I said, that's the cool thing about Kemimoto, is they've engineered it to be pretty much universal. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing hooked up, and then we're gonna power it on, see how it works. I'm super excited. I can't wait to use this thing out in the trails, especially when it's hot. It gets so hot. I'm losing my instructions here. I'm up in northeastern PA, and I gotta tell you that there are days out riding. You know, we ride a lot of coal country, and there's some heat up here. So this is going to be a welcomed addition to this side-by-side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unravel this. I'm going to route it. As you see here, I got my Kemimoto soundbar.
This is the Midnight S60. It's freaking awesome. I love it. But I'm going to route this wiring down along, or over this side, down along my roll cage, in with this, and then down to my battery, which is down here under the seat. So I'm not going to bore you with that. It's a very simple setup. If you look here, it has your U connectors. Clamp that right into your battery and you just power it on. The only thing I'm worried about is if these lights use Bluetooth. I'm going to give you guys a tip. This is no one's fault. This isn't a manufacturer fault, nothing like that. But I'm going to give you guys a tip. And this goes for sound bars. If it has Bluetooth capability, so if these have these RGB lights that change colors, right? That's always probably sniffing. And when I say sniffing, I mean it's sniffing for a signal. Because with Bluetooth, you can just turn it on a whim, right? As long as it has power. When you hook it straight to your battery, it's getting power all the time. So that little bit of Bluetooth sniff, is what I call it, is enough to drain your battery probably over a week, 2 weeks. I found that out with my soundbar. I hooked up my soundbar to my battery. It worked great. Everything's fine. This is me, you know, not knowing this. And it turned out that my battery died within probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I couldn't figure out why. So then I ended up adding a quick disconnect between the soundbar and the battery, and I disconnected the soundbar after I ride, and the battery hasn't died since. So I started thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? It's probably the Bluetooth, because it's sniffing to get turned on. So keep that in mind. Anything you're hooking up that has controllable lighting, you know, that has Bluetooth capability, you just want to be sure that, you know, you are hooking that up in a fashion that you can disconnect it from your battery, or you got to invest in a trickle charger and charge often. So let's go ahead and we got to get these bolts tightened down. I did loosen these in order to slide the track, so I do have to tighten these, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get this hooked up, and I'll lay the roof back on. I'm not gonna lock it down, and then we'll power this up and take a look at it. All right. Got your lights. Check this out. And there's your RGBs. Now you can go into Kemimoto's app and you can actually change the colors for these. So, I really wanted to do an install on this fan, and we thank Kemimoto for sending this to us, obviously, to install on this side by side. And again, don't mind the mess, I get it. The reason why I really liked and leaned towards this fan is two things. There's dual air, but also the tilting feature. I really like that. I'm not necessarily going to be running the RGBs. It's not something that I'm into. I don't run whip lights, but it's a cool feature because there are people out there who really like that stuff. We don't do a lot of night riding, but I guess eventually if I do night riding, we'll be giving it a shot, you know. But it's pretty cool. You got, like I said, you got your fans, and these put out a lot of air. I mean, it's all over. I'm really surprised how this fan, it's blowing everywhere. It's not necessarily blowing straight down on me. It's blowing like a cone all around in here, which is really cool. I didn't expect that. I expected this to blow straight down on me. Having a feature with the way this fan's designed that it blows in a conical fashion, it's really hard to explain. But you have you got, like I said, you got your dome lights, your RGB lights, as you can see over here, both fans, I mean, they're pretty loud, but you figure when you're driving, you know, you're gonna have the sound of the motor and the exhaust, so.
Kemimoto. Bluetooth mode. Connected.
There you have it. We just installed this amazing overhead fan in our ZForce 950 Sport. I gotta tell you, I'm really impressed with the build quality of this. I mean, I don't see this vibrating. I don't see this rattling at all when we're riding down the trails. Having the overhead light feature is actually really cool. And then obviously, like I had said, you have your RGB lights here, which you can connect to the Kemimoto app or an RGB app through Bluetooth, and you can change these. If I were to do anything with these, I would make them all red. You know, I have really no need for those, but it's a really cool feature. And then obviously, like you know, you have your fans. The fans are adjustable. I think that's a really cool feature. I can turn this one and have this one blow on me, this one blow on me. Pretty neat. The construction is solid. It went together so easily. Install your brackets, what, 8 bolts, and then you install your clamps, wire it right to your battery, you're good to go. I gotta say, this fan is really, really cool. We love Kemimoto products. Kemimoto has been doing a fantastic job with all of the accessory items that they've been putting out for the UTVs and side-by-sides. You got the Kemimoto, I mean, we run a lot of Kemimoto stuff. I got the Kemimoto soundbar here. I got a Kemimoto bag here that I use in the side-by-side as well, right here. I have the Kemimoto tablet mount right here, as you can see there. This has been an awesome addition to this side-by-side. And now we have a Kemimoto overhead dual fan. Massive shout out to Kemimoto. Thank you for collaborating with us. Thank you for making such great products. We appreciate it. I know our subscribers and our viewers appreciate it. I'm gonna talk to Kemimoto to try to get everybody a possible discount code that I'll drop in the description in the video. So please be sure to look for that as well. So once again, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please share it out, give it a like. It really helps us. Any of the Amazon links down below help us as well. If you purchase something from that, it doesn't cost you a thing. We get a small perk and it helps me give back to our crew. So I'll buy them stuff, you know, through Amazon, and they can use while we're out on the trail trying to bring you guys content. So once again, hop over and check out Kemimoto. Check out this amazing dual overhead fan. It'll fit, I'm gonna say it's gonna fit any side-by-side. The arms are adjustable. But hop over and check out Kemimoto. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.